Thank you very much to all of you for joining us for a virtual meeting detailing the proposed engineering and construction project to widen County Line Road from State Road 135 to what will eventually be access to Interstate 69. My name is Robert Vane, and I am a member of the public outreach team for HNTB. They are the lead contractor for this phase of the project. Additionally, I actually used to live right up the road when I worked for Mayor Ballard. My kids went to Glens Valley, and I spent a lot of time, probably like most of you, waiting and waiting on County Line Road to get home or when taking my kids to their games at Mount Pleasant Church. Our client for this project is the City of Indianapolis, and more specifically, the Department of Public Works. We are also coordinating our efforts with Johnson County officials and the Indiana Department of Transportation. Tonight, our experts will detail the information and research that represents our current thinking as how to best address the traffic, personal safety, and flooding issues that we know are prevalent along this stretch of County Line Road. As you can see from the agenda listed on your screen, we will discuss items from project understanding all the way through the schedule, and then welcome your comments. We'll also tell you what we are not considering. For example, no roundabouts. You will have a chance to ask questions and to continue to be a part of the planning process, and we promise this won't be your only chance or our only public meeting. This presentation also is being broadcast on Channel 16 in case television is a better viewing option for you. Given all that is under consideration and being presented tonight, please know this project is much more than just the widening of County Line Road from 135 to 69. We also hope to include certain amenities like a sidewalk and a bike path that have been absent from this area for too long. So thank you again for your interest in this project, and please let us know if you have any questions or comments. The best avenue for your input will be detailed at the end of this pre-recorded presentation.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Scott, and I'm the Senior Public Involvement Representative for HNTB. Before we get started, I'd like to review how you can participate during tonight's meeting. If you're joining us via WebEx, please enter your questions and comments into the chat field located in the lower right-hand side of your screen. If you're watching via live stream on Indianapolis Government Channel 16, please email your questions or comments to kescott@htb.com. Our team will be monitoring both chat and email throughout the meeting. However, please note that all questions will be addressed at the end of the presentation. While we have a limited amount of time this evening, we'll get to as many of your questions and comments as possible. Later, we'll discuss ways to participate after this meeting if you'd like additional information. South County Line Road is an essential thoroughfare for Indianapolis's South Side. As one of the few east-west corridors on the city's South Side, County Line Road has long been a vital community link, connecting State Road 37 to State Road 135. Upgrades to State Road 37 over the next few years will include a new interchange at the west end of County Line Road. Forecasted traffic demand along the corridor will quickly exceed the capacity of its current two-lane configuration when work on I-69 is completed. The proposed scope of DPW's South County Line Road project would improve east-west road capacity, enhance safety, and increase mobility by adding travel lanes between State Road 37 or I-69 and State Road 135. The purpose and need of this project are driven by three main categories: improved capacity, mobility, and safety. The need arises from the following issues: design deficiencies, existing and future capacity restrictions, and limited or no pedestrian or bicycle facilities. Traffic projections indicate that once I-69 is completed and the new interchange is in place at South County Line Road, the existing two-lane road will have major backups in each direction. Mobility is the easy movement of people and goods through an area. Traffic congestion within a corridor reduces the mobility for vehicular users. As discussed earlier, the project corridor currently experiences congestion, and these conditions are anticipated to worsen over time. Furthermore, several other east-west roadways in southern Marion County are expected to experience similar traffic increases in 2045. This includes along Stop 11, Southport Road, and Edgewood Avenue. Beyond limited east-west mobility, there are no existing pedestrian or bicycle facilities along South County Line Road between State Road 37 and State Road 135. This limits the safe and efficient movement of non-motorized traffic within the corridor. Proposed safety enhancements for this project include improving lines of sight at Morgantown Road by flattening the hill just west of Morgantown Road, and upgrading the intersection at Railroad Road from an all-way stop to a signalized intersection. Plans also include providing a shared use path and sidewalk for safe bicycling and walking access. The alternatives under consideration for this project include the no-build alternative, a 3-lane alternative, and a 5-lane alternative. The no-build alternative is commonly referred to as the do-nothing alternative. Under the no-build alternative, no improvements would be made in the project corridor. Because it does nothing, the no-build alternative would not result in adverse impacts to homes, businesses, and natural resources such as streams and wetlands. On the other hand, doing nothing would not address the 3 transportation needs identified in the corridor. In other words, the identified capacity, mobility, and safety needs would not be addressed. Because the no-build alternative would not meet the purpose and need objectives from the project, it has been eliminated from further consideration. The 3-lane alternative only fully meets 2 of the 3 purposes. Specifically, it would improve bicycle and pedestrian mobility along the corridor by adding a 10-foot asphalt multi-purpose trail on the north side and a 6-foot concrete sidewalk on the other side. It would improve vehicular safety along the corridor by adding a center, 2-way, left turn lane for the entire length of the corridor. It is anticipated that this feature would reduce rear-end vehicular crashes along the corridor. However, the 3-lane alternative would not fully meet the capacity need, since the existing single travel lane in each direction would not sufficiently accommodate existing and projecting vehicular traffic demand in the corridor. The 5-lane alternative meets all 3 transportation need elements identified in the project corridor. The 5-lane alternative would improve roadway capacity, increase travel mobility, and improve safety. Over the next few slides, we'll talk more about the specific design features that would address these needs. The capacity of the roadway would be improved by adding an additional travel lane in each direction along the corridor. This additional travel lane would accommodate both the existing and future projected traffic volumes. Because all existing driveway access points will remain unchanged, the additional travel lane would also provide more efficient and safer access to adjacent homes and businesses. This would occur by allowing through traffic to use the inside travel lane, while traffic wishing to turn right onto existing streets and driveways could use the other travel lane. On a related note, the 5-lane alternative would include a center, 2-way, left turn lane that would also improve roadway capacity. This would occur by allowing traffic turning left onto existing streets and driveways to be physically separated from the 2 travel lanes in each direction. The 5-lane alternative would improve east-west mobility for all transportation system users. Specifically, pedestrian and bicycle mobility would be improved through the addition of dedicated facilities for these users. A 10-foot asphalt multi-purpose trail would be added to the north side of the corridor, and a 6-foot concrete sidewalk would be added to the south side. Vehicular mobility within the corridor would be improved through the addition of another travel lane in each direction, as well as the addition of the center, 2-way left turn lane. Collectively, these improvements would help provide easier and safer movement of people and goods through the area. Additionally, as mentioned earlier, several of the east-west roadways in southern Marion County are projected to experience congested conditions in 2045. As a result, these localized improvements on County Line Road would provide regional benefits to other east-west roadway corridors in southern Marion County. Several design elements would be included in the 5-lane alternative to improve safety along the project corridor. First would be flattening the hill on the west leg of the County Line Road and Morgantown Road intersection. This change would improve safety by making it easier for travelers on County Line Road to see further in front of them in both directions of travel. Secondly, a center, two-way, left turn lane will be added along the entire project corridor. The two-way left turn lane would allow vehicles to safely turn left onto and out of existing driveways and side roads. Research indicates that the addition of this type of turn lane could reduce rear-end crashes between major intersections by over 30%. And finally, bicycle and pedestrian safety will be improved by adding dedicated facilities for these specific corridor users. There's a lot to consider with the scope of this project, but here are a few project design facts to consider. Along this 2.5-mile corridor, this project would include 2.5 miles of new multi-use path to improve pedestrian connectivity, 2 intersection improvements, 2 new traffic signals, 2 new bridges, 36 acres of drainage improvements, and more than 13,000 linear feet of sidewalk with 50 new or modified ADA curb ramps for better accessibility. Although the planning and design work for the South County Line Road project is still in its early stages, there are a few design elements that DPW has decided will not be part of the project. First, there will be no roundabouts implemented. Second, DPW realizes that maintaining access to existing homes and businesses is vital, and as noted earlier, those access points will remain unchanged by the project. Consistent with this vision for the corridor, DPW has decided that the project will not include a raised median, which would limit access to existing driveways and local streets. Although the project would correct some undesirable alignment issues and provide other improvements, the posted speed limit in the corridor will not change. As part of the project's environmental studies, a traffic noise analysis will be conducted. This work will be conducted in accordance with federal regulations as well as the policies and procedures developed by the Indiana Department of Transportation. If the traffic noise analysis identifies impacts, traffic noise abatement will be evaluated. In most cases, construction of noise barriers is the most common form of noise abatement for transportation projects. According to the NDOT traffic noise analysis procedure, however, noise barriers are typically not feasible mitigation measures for roadways where existing access points and/or driveways are required. The reason for this is the need to provide safe sight distances and maintain these access points. The results of the traffic noise analysis, including the decision about whether or not to implement noise barriers, will be included in the environmental documentation for this project, which is scheduled for publication later this year. We'll talk more in detail about the project schedule later in the presentation. The existing bridge carrying County Line Road over Pleasant Run Creek was built in 1973 and is in satisfactory condition. For this project, the proposed bridge will carry the full roadway section across the creek, including the multi-use path and sidewalk. Because County Line Road will be widened substantially on both sides, the decision was made to replace the entire bridge rather than leave pieces of the old bridge between new bridge components. This will result in a more low-maintenance, cost-effective bridge replacement. The new bridge will be slightly longer than the current one, and the skew and location will be adjusted to better align with the current channel location. The existing grass buffer between the road and sidewalk will narrow to a 2-foot concrete buffer over the bridge. To take advantage of the road closure west to Morgantown Road, this bridge will be built in one phase. The existing bridge carrying County Line Road over Buffalo Creek was built in 1987 and is in good condition. The proposed bridge will also carry the full roadway section across the creek, including the multi-use path and sidewalk. The new bridge will be approximately 50% longer to accommodate hydraulic needs and provide a wildlife passage under the bridge. The structure will have the same skew and location as the current bridge. The bridge will be built in 3 phases that coincide with the construction of County Line Road. This phasing will allow 1 lane of traffic in each direction throughout the construction. This is a look at existing drainage in the project area. In general, storm water runs off the road and into 2 existing streams which flow from east to west towards the White River. The eastern half of the project drains to Buffalo Creek. Near Railroad Road, Buffalo Creek joins Pleasant Run Creek, which drains the remainder of the project. In 2 locations, Waterway Bridges carry County Line Road over Buffalo Creek near the east end of the project, and Pleasant Run Creek just east of Morgantown Road. In this aerial imagery from 2019, we can see drainage and development in the project area. Here we see floodplains identified by the Indiana Department of Natural Resources. Yellow represents the regulatory floodway, blue demonstrates the 100-year floodplain, and red illustrates the 500-year floodplain. These floodplains run into each other, with the Pleasant Run Creek and Buffalo Creek floodplains greatly influenced by proximity to the White River. 2 new bridges will be constructed over the streams in the project area. These new bridges will have larger openings than the existing structures, resulting in more waterway area to convey floodwaters. This will result in lower flood elevations in the project area. In addition to increasing capacity at the bridges, the roadway elevation will be increased at existing low spots near the structures. The black line on the included chart illustrates the roadway profile elevation along County Line Road in the project area. Profile grade increases in the area highlighted in red on the chart will help increase safety by elevating the roadway compared to base flood elevations. Proposed improvements to the waterway bridges on County Line Road are designed to work well with the recently completed bridge at Morgantown Road. Curbs and gutters will be used to minimize the impact of pavement drainage to adjacent properties. Where existing drainage flows off the road into swales on its way to the creeks, the proposed design will feature curbs and gutters to capture runoff into enclosed storm sewers. The inset photo in the top right shows an image from the project area, facing west near Railroad Road. The blue arrows on this image show the existing drainage pattern, where runoff flows off the roadway into a shallow swale. The second photo is an example of what the proposed design will look like. The image was taken a couple miles east of the project site on County Line Road in Greenwood, east of Madison Avenue. The blue arrows in this image demonstrate the proposed drainage pattern where roadway runoff will be captured instead of draining off the roadway. Even though the new curb and gutter system will shed less water off the roadway along most of the project area, the additional pavement included with adding travel lanes would result in increased stormwater runoff. Stormwater detention facilities are included in the drainage design to help mitigate such increases and protect the existing streams. Both above and underground detention facilities are proposed. The areas circled in red on the map have been identified for above-ground detention. To minimize impacts to adjacent properties, additional detention needs will be incorporated into the underground storm drainage system. There are several underground and above-ground utilities along County Line Road. To accommodate the roadway widening, utilities will need to be relocated. These are expected to include electric, telephone, fiber optics, cable, water, and gas. Our team is working with the affected utility companies to ensure relocations are completed before roadway construction work begins. A major consideration with improving existing roadways is how to accommodate traffic during construction. The maintenance of traffic plan will include a partial closure of County Line Road and phased construction east of Morgantown Road. To flatten the hill west of Morgantown Road, a closure of County Line Road from Morris Road to Rocky Ridge Road, including the Morgantown Road intersection, will be needed. A detour will be in place during the closure. Phased construction east of Morgantown Road will be achieved in 3 phases. Phase 1 includes temporary widening to the south while maintaining traffic on the existing pavement. Phase 2 includes constructing the entire north half of County Line Road while maintaining traffic on the temporary pavement on the south side. Phase 3 includes switching traffic over to the newly constructed north side to construct the south half. Access will be maintained to all properties, homes, and businesses along the project, including traffic signal adjustments to accommodate the phased construction. We will also coordinate construction with the emergency medical services and nearby schools. The National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA, is a federal law that agencies must follow before beginning projects that use federal money or require federal approval. As part of this process, various studies, including the evaluation of natural, cultural, and community resources, will occur. Resources and impacts will be discussed and disclosed in the project's environmental document. This meeting and future meetings are an opportunity for the public to be involved in the project decision-making process. The project team has conducted early coordination with resource agencies and completed field work along the project corridor to evaluate a number of natural resources. This includes the completion of a Waters of the U.S. delineation, which is currently under review by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. In the document, Pleasant Run and Buffalo Creek were both designated as regulated waterways, each with a delineated floodway. There's also been coordination with various resource agencies to identify the northern long-eared bat and Indiana bat in the project vicinity. Both of these species are federally endangered. Other resources evaluated include surface water drainage, flooding, conversion of farmland to other uses, impacts to ground and drinking water, and air quality. As part of the environmental review for the project, community resources are also considered. This includes the evaluation of above and below ground cultural resources, assessment of hazardous materials and petroleum contamination, land use evaluation, noise analysis, and assessment of low-income and minority populations which may be affected by the project. All right-of-way acquisition will be completed in accordance with the Uniform Act of 1970. All federal, state, and local governments must comply with the Uniform Act, which requires an offer of just compensation to all property owners from which property is required. The acquisition process includes property appraisal and review. The amount of compensation cannot be less than fair market value. All offers will be made in writing. If an agreement cannot be met, mediation and potentially condemnation will occur. At this time, the amount of right-of-way required for this project is uncertain. More information will be provided at a future meeting. Here's the estimated schedule for the project. We're holding this public information meeting today in the spring of 2021. This will be followed by a public hearing in the fall of 2021 and finalization of the environmental NEPA document in the winter of 2021. Land acquisition will begin once the NEPA document is approved and will begin in early 2022. Work will continue into 2023. Clearing and utility relocations will take place in the second half of 2023, with construction set to begin in early 2024. As mentioned earlier, you can participate in this meeting through the WebEx chat function or by sending an email to kesscott@hntv.com. After this meeting, please send any comments or concerns via email to kesscott@hntv.com or by mail to 111 Monument Circle, Suite 1200, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204. You can also contact me at 317-917-5393. While you can contact me or anyone else on the project team at any time during the project development process, please note that we will be preparing a summary for this meeting. If you have a comment or concern that you would like associated with this meeting, please submit them by May 3rd, 2021, so they can be incorporated into the project studies and design. As a reminder, while we appreciate social media, comments that are submitted via Facebook, Twitter, or other social media platforms to either the city or NDOT will not be accepted as official comments. Official comments must be submitted via email, USPS, or phone. All comments received during the meeting and the comment period will be summarized and shared with the project team for the purpose of incorporating them into the design and environmental processes. If you'd like to stay up to date about project developments, you can send your contact information and preferred delivery method to KESCOTT@hntb.com. We'll add you to our project mailing list for future correspondence. To review project documents, please contact Janelle Bunton at JENELLE.bunton@indy.gov. If you're interested in reviewing project resources, you can also visit indy.gov and search for major transportation projects.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We've had a few questions that have come in during the presentation. So let me start. One of the questions was, how has this project come about? With I-69, there wasn't any, or the I-69 project team didn't know about this project. So, Chris, would you be able to tell us a little bit about how the project's come about?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks, Chris. Hi, everyone. This is Chris Schultz from HNTB. So the I-69 project is separate from the County Line Road project. I-69 project is an NDOT sponsored project at the interchange there for County Line Road. And then the County Line Road project is a city sponsored project that starts at the interchange and goes to the east. So they're two separate projects.
Okay, thank you. There are a lot of chats in here, so I'm just scrolling down through to find the next question. The next question is, what will the 5-lane alternative do to the homes currently along County Line Road?
So there will be some land acquisition required. We're widening the road from 2 lanes to 5 lanes. We don't know the exact extents and the limits of the land required. We will be going through that process here soon, and we'll be further developing our design. And we will have those answers earlier or later this year in early fall when we hold the public hearing.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, why do we need a separate bike and walking trail?
Sure, yeah, good question. So the goal was to add pedestrian facilities on County Line Road. Today there's very limited facilities out there, and we wanted to put in both the sidewalk and path on both sides of the road to both accommodate pedestrians on each side of the road. So we have a 10-foot path on the north side and a 6-foot sidewalk on the south side, the whole entire length. So we thought that would be helpful to accommodate the pedestrian activity in the area, and really improve the quality of life for everyone walking around.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. The next, it's not really a question, but from Kathleen, asked not to plant Bradford pears. And yes, the project team will not plant invasive species along the project. Let's see what the next questions are. How do people use their vehicles when the road is closed to access their property?
Sure, good question. So there will be access maintained at all times. There will be a closure when we flatten the hill between Morgantown Road and State Road 37. However, we will have alternative access points identified, and the contractor will work with the homeowners to make sure access is provided at all times.
Okay. For those of you that are putting questions in the chat, I'm getting them as the host, but if you could also address them to all panelists, and that way everybody can get a chance to see them. The next question is, will there be new flood lines after the proposed drainage projects? And a follow-up to that is, will this change any of the, or what does an above ground retention structure look like?
Sure. Yeah, this project will improve drainage in the area. We have two bridges, one over Pleasant Run Creek, one over Buffalo Creek. Those will both be sized to actually improve hydraulics in the area. And we also will have curb and gutter along the whole length of the project. So we will be capturing runoff in the curb and gutter and putting it into an enclosed storm system. So it should overall improve drainage in the area and should not increase any issues that are out there today. And what was the second part, Chris?
What does a above ground water retention structure look like?
Yeah, so basically it's more or less a detention area. It could be a detention pond or a linear ditch along the side of the road. Just an area to capture water and control the runoff. There's usually a structure at the end of it, whether it be a pipe, a restrictor plate of sorts. That really helps control the flow out of the detention pond. So that helps, with how much water we put into the outlets for the project.
Okay. Another question, will there be sewers added to the areas along County Line Road that do not have sewers currently?
I don't know the answer to that. We will be working with the utilities and the city, and we will report back on that.
Okay. So question not related to County Line Road, but is there any possible, or is there any information on upgrades to Wicker Road? And I'm not sure if that's would be a city project or a county project.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that project.
Okay. One question is, who will be responsible for clearing Buffalo Creek?
If you're talking about clearing for construction, the road contractor will work to clear that and only clear what's required for construction.
Okay.
And just a reminder, this work will be done in 2024, so that clearing won't take place for a while. We will have some clearing for utilities in 2023, but again, that won't happen until a couple years down the road.
Okay. This project will eliminate many large trees along the corridor. Is there a plan to replant new trees to replace those?
I'll defer to you, Chris, on that one.
Okay, as part of the project, we will have to replace some trees along both Pleasant Run and Buffalo Creek. I'm not sure we're far enough along in the project design to know if there'll be a landscape component of the project with a tree planting along like the sidewalk or the trail. But hopefully we'll have those answers by the fall when we have the public hearing. Let's see, here's a funding question. Is Marion County responsible to plan and pay for this, or is this shared with Johnson County?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. So funding is currently, this project's currently being funded by the city of Indianapolis and NDOT. We're also actively seeking funding from the US DOT through different grants. So currently, right now, those are our funding sources that we're working with.
Here's a question about relocations. Would both of the options require displacement of homes?
Yes. I think, part of this project is to, flatten the hill there at Morgantown Road. And that's where we're seeing most of the impacts. Again, we don't know what the impacts are going to be yet. We're still very early on in design. But yeah, the options here would have some impacts to the area. Again, we don't know those impacts at this time, but we will report back in the fall.
Okay. There's a question about how much land do we think we're going to need? For example, is it going to be 20 feet on each side or 30 feet on each side?
Yeah, I don't have the exact number in front of me. It's going from 2 lanes to 5 lanes with a sidewalk on each side. So I'd say, around 30 feet. I don't have the exact number, but we can look into that and report back to the group.
Okay. What is the existing speed limit of the corridor? And will the design incorporate traffic calming measures to ensure motorists don't speed due to the larger roadway footprint?
Yes, great question. So we are going to keep the same speed that's out there today. It's currently posted for 40 miles an hour between Morgantown and State Road 135. And it's 35 miles an hour between 37 and Morgantown Road. But we're designing this project to 40 miles an hour, and that will be the posted speed when we're done. So we will not, we're not trying to promote any higher speeds along here. We're keeping the speed limit the same. The main goal here is to expand the road and provide that additional capacity. We will have grass buffers on each side between the sidewalk and the road. So we'll also be able to look into that area to plant trees and other calming measures to help kind of slow traffic down.
Okay. The question about why will the path be made of asphalt instead of concrete?
Yeah, so the HMA or the multi-use trail typically is made of HMA asphalt instead of concrete. It's a little bit more forgiving for runners and bicyclists. So typically we install those trails as asphalt pavement instead of concrete. We have not completed our pavement design yet, so that still could be changed in the future, but currently that's our current plan.
Okay. I guess, and I'll add on to that, the asphalt is usually softer on your knees and joints when for runners and smoother for rollerbladers and things like that. So let's see. There's a question about, will the project design review the impact of the increased flood flow under Buffalo Creek Bridge and on the banks of Buffalo Creek south of the road in Johnson County? And I'll go ahead and answer that. As part of the project, we are looking at the stream bank stability, and that'll be part of the construction and the floodway permit. We're not going to look very far downstream though, but as part of the early coordination process, I know that that has been brought to the attention of the project team that there's some instability along Buffalo Creek, south of the bridge. And so we are looking at it, but it's not likely to be part of the project. Did you have anything to add to that, Chris?
No, I think that was good.
Okay. Let's see. What sources of funding are being used for the project?
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. It's a combination of city funds, NDOT funds, and pursuing federal grants.
Okay. And the follow-up was, will my taxes increase?
Yeah, no, I don't believe so. I don't have that answer, but no, that's not the intent here. It's to pay for, we're using funds that are already out there to pay for this project.
Right, and it's not, this project is not being paid out of property taxes like for the local residents. So. Question about how long will construction last?
Sure. Yeah. So construction will likely last at least 1 year. Currently, we are thinking 2 years, starting in 2025. So we will be looking into that further as we go further along into design. But as of right now, 2 years is what we're looking at.
Okay. There's a question on what do we expect property values to, or what effects do we expect on property values because of the project?
Yes, that'll be determined during appraising. I don't have that answer. Appraising will start in 2022. But overall, we're trying to, increase mobility and just overall, safety and capacity in the area. So hopefully that'll help on that front.
Okay. There's a question for clarification on land acquisition. And does that mean part of properties or total properties?
Yeah, I mean, land acquisition is unknown at this point. Right now we are, evaluating that, and we'll have further information in the fall.
Okay. And I would add that there may be both, that we're likely to acquire full properties and also just strips of property, and that we are actively trying to minimize the footprint for the project right now as part of our design. For the new drainage improvements, are those gonna be drainage ditches or open, or enclosed storm sewer systems?
Yes, good question. Yeah, so we plan on, with our curb and gutter installation, we will have enclosed storm system. So that'll be a combination of inlets and manholes and underground pipes, to collect the runoff. We may also have some small swales outside the sidewalk and path to collect, any runoff in the area to minimize any ponding, outside the path and sidewalk.
There's a question of, will the roadway itself be concrete or asphalt?
It's likely going to be asphalt. That's what we're currently proposing at this point.
Let's see. Kelly, do you have questions that have been emailed to you?
Yes, I have actually. There have been several folks that have been requesting to opt into the mailing list. I think that there may have been some issues with someone trying to get to me, but I haven't received any emails about questions thus far. So again, my email address is KESCOTT@HNTB.com. So if you can maybe try that again. I don't know if it's bounced back to you, but I'm certainly willing to answer any questions that you have on this end.
Okay. There's a question about, will the roadway be elevated?
The short answer is no. It's going to be near the same grade that it is today. There are some areas around the Buffalo Creek and Pleasant Run Creek areas that we will be raising the road up a little bit for the water elevation. But in general, no, it will be at the same elevation, except where we're going to flatten the hill and fix the safety issues with the hill west of Morgantown.
Okay. There's a question about, why is the north path larger than the south path? I guess, why is the trail just on one side and sidewalk on the other?
Sure. Yeah, no, that hasn't fully been determined. Our current plan is a 10-foot path on the north side, 6-foot walk on the south side. That has to do with some funding as well. It's more expensive for a path. So we're looking at, different funding options and what we can install. But right now, that's what we have funds to work with, is putting in a 10-foot path on the north side with a 6-foot walk on the other.
Okay. We have a question about, what will County Line Road and Railroad Road look like? Will that be a stop condition? Will it be at grade?
Yes, yeah, good question. So that's a tricky little intersection. We were looking into that. It will be definitely at grade. There will be no bridges in the area. But it will be a wider intersection, and the widening will have to, be to the east to avoid the railroads in the area. But there will be a new traffic light there as part of the project, and the railroad crossing will be upgraded with new gates and flashers.
Okay. Will the center line of the proposed roadway be at the same location as the current center line of the roadway?
Yes, yeah, great question. So we've looked at different alternatives and really the optimal alignment or optimal center line is right where it's at today. So yes, we will be putting back the center line where it is today.
Okay. Scrolling through the chats to see if I've gotten all the questions. Will there be any restrictions for heavy truck traffic after the roadway is complete?
We have not considered that at this time. We can work with the city on further work with them on if that's something we want to do.
Okay. Question about how this ties in with I-69. Will this project be complete by the time that I-69 interchange is complete?
Yeah, so the timing of this one is after the I-69 interchange. We're actively trying to get funding and accelerate this as quick as possible, but I-69 and the interchange there will be built before this project is started.
Okay. There's a question about whether something can be done with the railroad road crossing now. I don't know if there's anybody on the project team that has is involved in any of the short-term projects. Is that I was thinking that there was going to be something temporarily done at Railroad Road.
Yes, Chris, I think you're right. Yeah, sorry. I believe there is going to be a new interim traffic signal installed there. I don't know the details. I'm not part of that project, but we can look into that and report back.
Okay. And we do have, we will have a list of frequently asked questions with some of these questions are on there in the answers, and those will be on the website also. Will the project extend to the south on Morgantown to correct sightlines and safety with the hill?
Right. Now we're limited to the County Line Road area. We'll go back a little bit to tie into the Morgantown approach, but the goal of this project is to widen and expand County Line Road.
Okay. Can you go over the project schedule again?
Sure. And this presentation will be available too for everyone to see, and the schedule is one of the slides. But more or less, we're working towards construction starting in early 2024. So we're having this public meeting here tonight, and then we will have a public hearing in the fall of this year, and that will complete the environmental process. And then in 2022 is when we'll start getting into the land acquisition, working with the homeowners on that, and that'll last till 2023. And utility relocations and clearing will happen at the end of 23 and early 24 to get us ready for construction in 24.
Okay. Kelly, can you repeat where here, actually, I think there was a question or a request for repeating where the project information is going to be on the website. And so that should be on the screen now. Looking through to make sure that what other questions that we have. This presentation will be available on the IndyGov website. It should be on there later this evening. A question about how will the bicycle and pedestrian users be accommodated at the intersections in the side road crossings.
Yeah, we'll have new ADA curb ramps at each approach. And we'll also have, pavement markings across each approach to guide the trail and sidewalk across the intersections.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'll put the contact information in the website in the project or on the chat also. Question on the multi-use path and the sidewalk. Who will be responsible for maintenance of those facilities? In particular, like snow removal and things like that.
Right. Yeah, that'll be city-owned assets, so the city would be responsible for that. At least for the trail, I believe. I'm not 100% sure about the sidewalks.
Okay. Is there lighting associated with this project?
Yeah, there's been some discussion about including lighting. If funding is available, we would like to include streetlights in the grass buffer between the sidewalk and the curb. So yes.
Okay. Kelly, did you get any other questions?
I have not received anything additionally through my email.
Okay.
Just several folks that are interested in opting in for the mailing list. There are a few people that have specific questions about their area of the project, the property that they have. So I'll work with them to get their questions to the right folks.
Okay. I think that's all the questions we have for right now. As I did say that we will have a FAQ, so frequently asked questions on the website, and you can opt in to get more information on the project and be included on the project mailing list, where we'll, with that project mailing list, you'll be contacted for the upcoming meetings, and we can also provide kind of a summary of the questions from this meeting.
Chris, if you're done, I'll tell everyone thank you.
I think I'm done.
Well, thank you everyone for both your thoughtful comments and very good questions. You thought of some things that quite frankly that we hadn't thought of. And that's one of the reasons why we have these meetings. Thank you to the team for your answers. Again, to opt into the mailing list, and receive project news and information by email or physical mail, your preference. Send your preferences and contact information to KEScott@hntb.com. That's KEScott@hntb.com. Please contact Janelle Bunton at janelle.bunton@indy.gov to view project documents. And for more information, check out www.indy.gov/activity/major-transportation-projects. Again, that's indy.gov/activity/major-transportation-projects under street improvement projects. Thank you again very much for your time this evening. We look forward to hearing from you and look forward to seeing you at our public meeting in the fall.